The bomb dropped today. The Mandalorian. Jon Favreau's Star Wars series that's going to be on Disney streaming. They even put out a picture and a synopsis. Let me tell you something. The picture looks so badass. I am so excited about this. All right, so if you don't know about The Mandalorian, let me give you a little bit of background about The Mandalorian. There's a planet in the Clone Wars. They talk about it in the expanded universe and stuff. It's called Mandalore. It was a warrior set of people, and they all wore different variations of the Boba Fett armor. So we all know the story from the prequels. Jango Fett was a bounty hunter that had Mandalorian armor, and he was cloned in order to make the clone army for Palpatine. So with that being said, Boba Fett was given to him as a gift, an unaltered clone, which is what he asked for, as the only thing he wanted. So he basically cloned himself as a little kid. Boba Fett grows up, watches his dad get beheaded, gets the slave one. We know the story. Next thing you know, you don't see him again until they added him in A New Hope. He's hanging out with Jabba the Hutt. Next thing you know, the bounty hunter has been hired by Darth Vader to go get Captain Solo, and they get him in carbonite, and they get him back to Jabba the Hutt, and Boba Fett gets killed in Return of the Jedi by Han Solo, who is blind, doesn't see him, hits his jetpack, flies, and he goes into the Sarlacc pit. So I think in the expanded universe and some books, maybe he crawls out of the Sarlacc pit, but it doesn't matter. The movies are really like the canon for me. But here's the deal. It was recently announced that they were canceling the Boba Fett movie. And everybody was like, oh, what? They had gotten Josh Trank was attached to it, then James Mangold to write it and all this stuff. Next thing you know, the series, The Mandalorian. Dude, we don't need a Boba Fett movie, okay? Boba Fett was like a C-type character and was expanded a little bit with the prequels. But let's be honest, we've already seen Boba Fett's rise and fall. He was a little kid. He watched his dad get killed. He wanted to go after Jedis and kill them and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, and then he's dead in Return of the Jedi. We don't need a backstory or any more movies with Boba Fett. Now we've got The Mandalorian, okay? So they put out the press release, and I'm going to read this to you. So it says, and this means they're not going to make a Boba Fett movie, okay? So just get that out of your heads. It's not happening. After the stories of Jango and Boba Fett, another warrior emerges in the Star Wars universe. The Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. We follow the travails of a lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. Now, I would say he's probably out in the outer rim, especially if the planet kind of looks like Tatooine, maybe a little Mos Eisley, maybe a little Jakku. He's definitely out there. Okay, so this is like a space western. Okay, so this is what we wanted. We want this series. If it takes place after Return of the Jedi, one of the big things I was just talking to a friend of mine about, I said, okay, well, then maybe we'll get some post-Return of the Jedi characters that might be trickled into this. And what if we saw Luke Skywalker in his prime, but they go with Sebastian Stan? Right? You following me? Yeah. Looks like Mark Hamill. Everybody knows he played the Winter Soldier. He's already in the Mouse House with Marvel. We could get the Luke Skywalker we wanted, or they may just sprinkle it in little by little. Doesn't have to be. It can be all about the Mandalorian. It could be all about this lone gunfighter. Maybe doing the bounty hunting thing. All I know is like Aura Singh. It looks like he's got an Aura Singh. He's got in the picture. The armor is all different than what we've seen traditionally, different than in the movie Solo, where there was a set of armor in the background on the yacht. Look, all the Mandalorians have different armor and represents different things. Okay, their tribes, the whole nine yards. What's really cool is I think like the cosplay and fanboys are going to go nuts at the cons because now they can have all these variants. And if you don't think somebody is already trying to put together that costume after that photo broke today, you are crazy. That will be done in a week. These guys go nuts when they see this new armor. So I'm really excited about that. They're going to have, it's not just going to be Jon Favreau directing, which is really cool. They're bringing in other directors. Deborah Chow, who does Jessica Jones. Dallas Bryce Howard is going to be directing an episode. That's Ron Howard's daughter, who obviously was directed Solo. So this is really exciting. They're keeping this thing in the family. Taika Waititi, I think that's how you say his name. He directed Thor Ragnarok, which was an amazing Thor film. It was probably my favorite one out of all of them. I like them for all different reasons, but Thor Ragnarok was just fun. So if this guy brings that kind of fun to it, it's going to be awesome. And then Rick Famuyiwa, I butchered that name, but it's okay. He directed Dope. So look, the bottom line is they're bringing different actors in, but it was funny that they have Dallas Bryce Howard and Deborah Chow. And then it made me think, is the Mandalorian female under the armor? Could it be? I don't know. It's something to think about, right? I mean, they've been doing a lot of these female characters, but I don't know. Kind of looks a little husky in there. We'll see. The armor can hide things. We don't know. But I'm really excited about The Mandalorian because it feels like this is going to be a nice space western. It's what we wanted. We don't want a Boba Fett movie. This is it. This is what we want. Jon Favreau's bringing the goods. That's why they canceled, I think, the Boba Fett film. And we still may get our Obi-Wan Kenobi, but we shall see. If this movie takes place once again after Return of the Jedi, I think we might be able to see some other characters pop in. And, you know, it would be okay if they recast him, like with Sebastian Shaw as a Luke Skywalker or something like that. Man, I'm just throwing things out right now. I mean, who knows how this is all going to turn out. My thinking was it's probably going to be about 10 episodes. I mean, if they're dropping 5 or 6 million an episode, you know, I worked on 3 seasons of Under the Dome, and I think we were doing like 2 million an episode, 3 million an episode by the time we got to the last season. And a lot of the shows that I work on as crew, you know, shoot for about 2 million an episode. And this is Star Wars, man. They're going to drop the money. But also they could probably recycle a lot of sets and things like that so they don't have to build things, you know? That's the beauty about this. They can save a whole set that looks like Tatooine, and then next thing you know, in another movie, they could use that set. It's like the Millennium Falcon. You just keep shipping it everywhere, and you don't have to go through the cost of building the Millennium Falcon again. But all I know is this is going to be awesome. What's really cool is I'm assuming that the Mandalorian's also going to have his or her own spaceship. So it can introduce us to a whole new class of vessel. You know, obviously not all the Mandalorians are flying around in Slave One type ships, but there could be variants on it. So, I mean, this is just like really exciting. This is really cool stuff. And the picture, again, is just blowing my mind. I mean, it's so classic Star Wars. It feels lived in. That polished, brushed steel helmet. Are you kidding me? I mean, it looks lived in. It looks great, and it has throwbacks to the Boba Fett armor and the Jango Fett armor. But this is going to be badass. This is I can't wait. I can't wait for more to come out. I can't wait for this Disney app to launch. I mean, this has me amped, and it should have you amped too. So if you're going nuts like I am over The Mandalorian, and you like the picture, and you drop some comments. Like this video, share it around. Let's get the word out. Let's talk about it. If you've got thoughts about what you think this thing is going to be about, drop it in there. Let's go. Let's go back and forth. Let's do this. This is going to be great. Like this video, share it, subscribe to my channel. The Mandalorian. This is going to rock. This is going to kick ass.